Even though Germany is quite renter friendly, there can be cases where your German landlord can be a huge pain and terminate your contract, withhold your deposit, and even ask for you to pay for additional costs. So watch this video till the end as I share what your landlord can and cannot do. Contract termination. If certain conditions are met, landlords can end a rental contract without giving notice as part of a special termination. Thankfully, they cannot do this via email or SMS. They have to do this in writing. The letter also needs to be signed by the landlord and must clearly state the reason for ending the tenancy and how much notice period the tenants need to move out. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is SN. I'm a researcher, and on this channel we discuss business and personal finance in Germany. The amount of notice required depends on how long the tenant has been living there. If it's less than 5 years, the notice period is 3 months. If it's between 5 to 8 years, the notice period is 6 months. And if it's more than 8 years, the notice period is 9 months. Reasons for ending the tenancy can include the tenant breaking rental agreement or the landlord needing property for personal use. Termination without notice can happen if the tenant sublets the apartment without permission, intentionally damages or neglects the property, or repeatedly does not pay the rent. Deposit payment. Your landlord has a legal right to demand a deposit payment from you as a tenant. This rental deposit can be up to 3 times the monthly rent, but not more than that. This amount is refunded when you leave as a tenant, but this amount might not be refunded to you as soon as you leave. Since the Nebenkosten or the additional costs are billed annually, your landlord may withhold a reasonable part or even the whole deposit amount for up to 12 months. This gives time to the landlord to find any damages when the apartment is handed over and to determine whether they have received the last rent and operating cost payments on time. Only after this period has expired do you as the tenant have the right to file a lawsuit against your landlord if they do not return your deposit. Ultimately, the rental deposit does not need to be paid until you have vacated the unit, any outstanding repairs have been completed, and any outstanding costs have been settled. Rent increase. Your landlord has the option of raising the rent to the usual local rate in accordance of the section 558 of the German Civil Code. According to section 558, the rent increase must be sent in text form as a letter or an email. Landlords can increase the rent if they have a reason, such as the rent index for the area going up. They can only increase the rent 15 months after the tenant moves in. If the property is in an area with rent control, the landlord needs to be careful when increasing the rent for new tenants. I have a written article on my website with more details, so please do check it out. Operating expenses. Your landlord in Germany can even charge you for additional or operating costs. Some extra costs that the landlord can charge for include sewerage, property tax, elevator, street cleaning, building cleaning, lighting, property and liability insurance, TV or cable fees, and many others. These costs need to be explained in detail when the landlord sends the bill for utilities. That said, the landlord can only charge tenants for extra costs if they agree to them in the rental agreement. If there's no clause in the rental agreement, you are not obliged to pay these additional costs. Please hit the like button if you're getting value from this video and consider subscribing. Apartment key. The landlord is obliged to give the tenant all the keys to the apartment. This includes not only house and apartment keys, but also the keys for the basement, for the underground car parking or the garage, and the mailbox key. If the tenant voluntarily provides the landlord with a second key, this does not entitle the landlord to enter the apartment without the tenant's consent. If a key is lost, you as the tenant must notify the landlord immediately and bear the replacement costs. This can be very expensive, but here liability insurance can save you a lot of money. I will put my favorite liability insurance that includes key replacement in the description below. Keeping pets. A general ban on keeping pets in the rental apartment is not permitted. Small animals may also be kept in the apartment without the landlord's permission. Examples of small animals are fish, hamsters, guinea pigs, parakeets, and rabbits. The keeping of ferrets and ornamental birds may be prohibited due to loud animal noise and pollution. As far as keeping dogs and cats in a rental apartment in Germany is concerned, your landlord can decide on a case-by-case basis whether to grant permission or not. Landlord's rights for inspection. Landlords have the right to inspect the property if they have a specific reason. Possible reasons are detection of defect or damage when repairs are actually necessary. Landlords have the right to show the property to potential renters or buyers even if it's being rented out, but they cannot do long or frequent viewings. They need to give notice ahead of time usually a few days. If they need to read the heating costs, they need to give between 10 to 14 days notice. If there's urgent work that needs to be done, they need to give at least 24 hours notice. Thankfully, there's no general inspection right for landlords. That is why it is essential to know what your landlord absolutely cannot do, which I discuss in this video. So thanks for watching, bleib gesund, and I'll see you in this video.